Hey guys, Guy here with Datalytics. I'm going to take you through real quick how to set up a integration with Integromat on how to create a person inside of Plutio when a form is submitted inside of your Plutio account. So what we're going to do is start with in Plutio. There's two things we're going to leverage for this solution, and that's going to be the Datalytics. No, I'm sorry, not the Datalytics, the Plutio API Manager feature, which is in your settings right here, the gear icon at the bottom of that API manager. When you click into this, you're going to see either if you have them created currently or you can create a new one, all the ones that you have created currently. What we need to do is if you don't have one already, create one, name it whatever you'd like. Test is fine. Or if you want to name it specific, you can get Integromat and then form handler is what I like sometimes. What we're going to do is focus on, these are called endpoints, and we're going to focus on an endpoint right here, form response.create. Now, the beauty of the Plutio API Manager is you can actually deselect the ones you don't want to utilize for this API specific instance. So what I'm doing is I'm deselecting all of the ones that I don't want to focus on. This is important and can really help when we build the actual integration because we don't want these other endpoints to come through on our integration because we're only focusing on form submissions. If that were the case and you left it, that integration may pick up on or will pick up on all of these events within Plutio. So when a new proposal is created or edited or signed or a task is assigned or moved, it'll pick up on that. So if you're worried about your scenario limit or your operations count within Integromat, that can really eat that up. So it's good to do this to really limit the scope of this, this integration. Okay, so we've done that. Now what we're going to do is go back into Integromat, create a new scenario, select Plutio, and we only need the Plutio app for this entire operation. So what we're going to do, select Plutio, scroll down, watch notifications, and if you already have a webhook set up to do things within Plutio, that's great. Otherwise, create a new one. And then what it's going to generate, and this is an instant action, it's going to generate a webhook. So we need to grab this address to the clipboard. You can either click it here or you can highlight it and copy it. Click OK. Go back into Plutio and drop that webhook right here. Then next to that, make sure to turn it on. And that's all we need to do within Plutio for this integration setup. Now, the next thing we're going to do is click Plutio option again, and then do what we need it to do off the form submission. Some people do create a person, some people create a task or a project. You can do that as well. You can also create invoices. You can do all of these different actions after the form submission. What people are asking for currently is creating a person. So that's right here under people, create a person. Connect it to that first one. And now what you'll see in this module, there's a bunch of different fields pertinent to your Plutio account that you can fill in with that map data. What we need to do beforehand, before you get crazy with that step, is set up a filter in here. Now, filters are great, and I like using Integromat for this purpose, is you can get really specific with your filters. What we needed to do is say form response. And this filter, what we're going to do is two things. We're going to have a method filter, and we're also going to have a form ID filter. That way we know when this runs that the specific endpoint that we selected here in Plutio, form-response.create, is coming through and actually creating this person. So we set that up and we need it to equal, and you're going to copy this in, either copy it from here in Plutio or you can type it in. So form response.create. This next one we're going to set up when we actually do the testing of this, because we need the actual form to populate through inside Plutio. So this is going to be equal to form ID, and just select some placeholder text. That's fine. Equal to test, just for now. So now we have part way of our filter set up. What we need to do now is go back into a live form inside of Plutio, either in the forms page here, or you can get it to a live form if you have one on your site or your page or any other location you want. I have one here on my web page, .connect. So what we're going to do is we need to send through Plutio a live form to get those fields. Okay, now we have a live form sent through Plutio. What we need to do is wait for a minute or two and make sure that Plutio can then communicate with Integromat, and that the Integromat scenario and the webhook that we put into this API manager picks up on the submission. And that should come through right here. I just sent in another response today at 3:19 just now, so that means the form response was created. Now to test this, depending on the server response time, you can hit the run once, oh. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention before we do the running is you have to set in a couple of fields that are mandatory for the actual module of create a person, or else the scenario won't run. So we need to set, and you can figure that out by hitting OK, and it'll highlight the fields that are mandatory. So role, typically it's client, but you can select whichever one you'd like. If there's one that you need it to be off the form response, and you can select either of those from your Plutio account. First name, I'm just going to put my first name and last name, just as a test for now. This way we can get our actual form response to submit through. Now, what's going to happen when we run it is it's actually going to pull the webhook to see if there's any new responses. And if the new response comes through, it'll pick up on that response.